Adastra is a sci-fi political adventure with cosmic horror elements and gay romance intended for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Previously on Adastra.
I didn't know your species wasn't part of the Galaxius. It's very illegal to make first contact without authorization from a parent. Parent? The authorities of the galaxy. There are 3 levels in the Galaxius. At the very top are the parents. They arrived from beyond our galaxy to spread their culture here.
I'm very curious about you.
What?
I'm limited in what I can ask, but I will start with this. What is death to you?
Oblivion.
I see.
And again, I find myself floating as that wide, vacuous conscience that seems to bleed over the boundaries of any sort of individuality. I don't panic this time. I'm used to the feeling, knowing that it's just a dream, that it will pass. I also sense that other presence above me, even wider than I am. They've been following me around since I got on that ship. Knowing that someone else is there calms me further, and I wait, wondering if they'll talk to me again. They do.
I am still curious.
I try to talk back this time, ask them what they're curious about exactly, but I don't have a mouth to speak with. They seem to hear me, though, and in response I sense gentle amusement mixed with fascination.
Many things, but once again, I'm afraid I have to keep it short.
I wait expectantly.
Do you feel that Amicus would be capable of his duties as Emperor of Adastra?
Yes.
Ah, how interesting.
The drones have lasers?
Oh yes, they need some form of a defense mechanism.
I find myself continuing to glance up at a Adastran spider, sitting motionlessly on the wall of the palace. Wish they'd use them on those hideous things. Takes Alex a moment to see what I'm looking at.
Oh, Marco, you know those are important to the
Ecosystem? Yeah, I know. Doesn't make them any less disgusting. Imagine one of those things biting you.
Indeed. Though, honestly, I've been vaccinated so many times after coming to Adastra that sharp, pointy things don't scare me so much anymore.
Well, we won. We did. So, what next? Well, for now I must go to the city. The Triumvirates requested the Imperial family be seen at once. I see. They also requested that you go. Really? You wouldn't have to do anything. Just look happy to be there. But it's up to you. Would it help you? Possibly. I would certainly be happy to have you there. Then sure. The wolf's eyebrows go up in surprise. Oh, really? Well, all right then. Let's go. As we walk through the streets, wolves call out to Amicus from doorways and windows, and he tries to wave at them all. Further up the road, a group of children, puppies, show up with flowers in their paws, handing them out to Amicus and the Triumvirates. As I watch this happening, I notice a particularly patchy-looking child, no taller than my waist, standing off to the side awkwardly, looking right at me as she holds a flower in her paws. I pause, unsure if she means to give it to me. When I do, she moves closer. So I bend over, reaching out, and her eyes widen, probably simultaneously horrified and fascinated at getting the crazy alien's attention. Nevertheless, she comes closer, and shyly pushes the crumpled, wilted flower into my hands, before suddenly leaning in and touching the side of her face to mine. For a moment, I see her watery, bloodshot eyes. Then I feel the slightly damp fur brush my skin before she makes an odd yelping sound and runs off down the street. I stare after her, wondering if I'd done something wrong. Found yourself a gift? I look down at the white flower, noticing that several petals are missing. I guess. That one didn't look healthy, did she? Not really. Maybe Cassius had a point with his speech.
How dare this empire let our people fall into such a state that we cannot even care for our own people? I'm hearing that even now, we can't afford to vaccinate those beyond our glittering city!
I think they both made good points, honestly. Nefero gestures at the gaggle of wolves moving further and further away from us. Better catch up before they leave us behind. Yeah. Eventually, Amicus very loudly calls out that he'd like to go to a restaurant with his pet, if everyone could please allow him through. I take this as my cue to move to his side, and he immediately puts an arm around mine, holding me close. As we walk up the street, the many wolves still following behind us, Amicus puts his muzzle close to my ear, sending a bit of a chill over my neck. One that's oddly painful.
Everything okay, Marco? You seem a bit uncomfortable.
I shrug. Everything around here is new to me, so I guess I do feel a little bit off.
Well, let's settle down at a restaurant. We can cool off and catch our breath there.
The wolf gives me a quick squeeze with his arm, and despite my slightly sour mood, I can't help but smile a bit.
Sorry about that. I should have warned you about how frustrating it can be with all the pointless chatter.
I shrug. Seems about right for politics.
Oh, it is. But don't worry. It's rare that all the triumvirates are in the city all at once. This is for the trials, of course.
Yeah, makes sense.
You sure you're okay? I can never seem to tell.
I'm fine. I rub my arms, the skin's sensitive and sore, just like my joints. I wonder if I'm getting sunburned too. We eat in silence a while, and I can tell something heavy is on Amicus's mind. In the meantime, I'm a bit distracted with itching specific spots on my arms, feeling tiny little bumps on the skin. I wonder if I'm allergic to something in the meal, so I stop eating for the moment, choosing instead to lounge out on the bed.
Marco, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Yeah?
Do you want to stay here, even after I become emperor?
What do you mean? Amicus sighs and glances at me.
I mean, do you want to stay here with me, even if you have the ability to go home?
Amicus quickly looks down again.
I'm sorry, I know it's not my place to ask, but I thought I might as well ask.
I stare at him for a moment, then I look down too.
You know I need to go back. At the very least, I need to let my friends and family know that I'm okay. I know that they're looking for me in Italy right now. Probably all of Europe at this point. I need to let them know.
Amicus coughs hastily.
Of course.
But that doesn't mean that I don't want to come back. I do. I just know that that there are problems. I lower my voice as I remember that we're in a public place and that mentioning illegal first contact would not be a good idea. If we can fix the problems, honestly, I'd love to come back and stay for a long time. I kind of surprised myself with that statement, but it's true. Amicus glances at me in surprise.
Really?
Yeah. If it wasn't a risk to your empire.
Of course. I mean to speak to the parents as soon as I'm able. I'm certain we can figure something out.
The look on Amicus's face right now, so sad but a little hopeful, reminds me of something that I've been wanting to do for the past week. And Amicus?
Yeah?
I glance around quickly, making sure that the nearby patrons aren't listening.
Do you want to date me?
The statement, so ridiculous, so silly in this situation, comes out all quiet and weak. But I don't know how else to ask it. It's something that I don't think I've ever said to anyone before. And just like Amicus, I find myself looking down immediately. It's quiet for a moment, and the restaurant suddenly lights up with a golden hue as the sunset hits the windows just right. I hear a long exhalation and realize that the wolf had been holding his breath. I look up then and see Amicus smiling at me. There's a mixture of happiness and relief on his face, maybe even a little amusement. I guess we've been dancing around it for so long. We both knew by now that it's what we wanted, what we've been building up to. Of course, Marco. I'm honored that you'd have me. I even see his eyes glistening a bit, and I want to get up right there and then and join him on his bed. But public setting holds me back. But there are boundaries, and if I'm dating you, you have to tell me everything. And no sleeping around behind my back.
Of course, I've promised to tell you everything, especially everything that concerns you, and I don't ever intend on breaking that promise to you.
And sleeping around? Amicus's ears flick, and he glances over at our neighbors, who are definitely trying to eavesdrop. He lowers his voice a good deal.
Definitely not. Not that I have anyone to be with, but we can discuss all of this when we get back to our room. And
Amicus lowers his voice even more.
maybe do a little more as well.
His ears flatten as I roll my eyes, but they come back up as I smile. Sure. Immediately, his tail starts thumping the bed, and the eager look on his face has me shaking my head. I can't deny that I'm excited too. Actually, I'm feeling kind of nervous now that I just promised him that. How would we even start? We sit together for a while longer, the conversation moving to more casual topics, like how the districts of the city are divided up. Though, as an hour passes, I start feeling hot and a little dizzy. And when I mention this to Amicus, he suggests we head back to the palace. I can tell now that I'm definitely getting sick, and all of that soreness and exhaustion was just the beginnings of a creeping fever that I can feel breaking out across my skin.
Simeon?
Cassie's voice is low and quiet to my left, and I glance over to see him leaning up casually against the chariot.
What game are you playing?
Now is probably the worst time for this to happen. Game? I mumble out stupidly, looking toward the restaurant to see if I can see Amicus through the crowd gathered in front.
Do not act stupid. I know you're capable of understanding.
I just shake my head, but immediately regret it as I feel all the food that I'd just eaten roil around in my stomach. I'm really sick. Way more than I'd realized, and I can't believe how hard and fast it's hitting me.
Do you remember several weeks back, in which you served me during midday meal? Virginia and Neferu were there?
I just stick to silence now, worried that moving at all is going to make me hurl.
Of course you remember. You told the triumvirates about what I intended to do with them, didn't you?
Cassius moves closer, but the feelings coursing through my body leaves me not caring all that much about him right now. I need to get to Amicus. I need to tell him that something's wrong. I hug myself, feeling that prickling sensation erupt to the surface, my skin on my arms and chest and legs burning and itching in the most horrible way. I gasp.
What is that? Some sort of simian language? Listen to me. I want to know what you told them, and how you knew to tell them.
I feel bumps on my arms, bumps that weren't there just minutes ago. I look down, and even though it's hard to see in the darkness, I'm at least able to see that the skin is splotchy and discolored. Shakily, I touch one of the splotches, and watch as a tear of clear liquid oozes out. What the hell? Something grabs the front of my robes and pulls me up.
Are you listening, pet? I said...
I was worried about small movements, but that huge lurch pushes my stomach over the edge, and I immediately projectile vomit straight into the middle of Cassie's torso. We both stare at the mess on his fur, which is starting to drip down heavily onto his garments.
Oh gods. Oh gods!
The wolf screeches, and at the same time, I vomit again, right in the same spot. Thankfully, the next thing I hear is Amicus's voice. It sounds like it's coming from far away, even though I can tell that he's crouching right next to me.
What did you do to him, Cassius?
I did nothing. He...
I hear splattering noises.
Marco, what happened? What's wrong?
I sway, and Amicus lets me lean into him despite my vomit-covered robes. I don't know.
Was it the food? Are you...
I stick out an arm, and I feel the wolf catch it delicately, examining it.
Gods.
He mumbles it under his breath.
What? What happened? Cassius?
I hear more footsteps, and for some reason I feel myself becoming embarrassed that everyone's seeing me like this.
Virginia, he's sick.
We need to get him back to the palace. Get in the carriage.
It's too slow!
I feel the world tilt as I seem to just levitate off the ground. Then I realize that Amicus has picked me up.
The breeders have much faster vehicles. We could get one from them.
Marco?
I hear his voice, but for some reason I can't respond. It's like a dream.
There's no time. I'm running back.
Amicus!
Chapter 13: A Cosmic Prodigy.
I feel my body bouncing up and down, thrown left and right. It's like I'm in some kind of demented thrill ride. I reach out into the darkness to stop it somehow, but all I feel is something furry and warm. Oh, everything hurts and itches at the same time. What is this?
Marco? Hey, stay with me. I'm here.
Who? I force my eyes to open, even though they burn so much. I stare up at the gnarled things above me, and I wonder what they are. All that comes to mind are bony, skinless hands reaching up to the sky.
Can you hear me?
There's a breathless, wheezing voice above me as the horrible, bouncing ride continues. I just want to sleep. There's another sound, an odd, droning one, and the earthquake finally stops.
Amicus, get in, you fool! Navarro, he's having seizures. He has pustules all over his body.
The voice above me sobs and gasps, and I want to reach up and put a hand over its mouth so that it's quiet, so that I can sleep.
Calm yourself. Virginia's having a physician flown into the palace. You need to...
Everything mercifully goes quiet again. I float through a void of quiet, soft, black clouds that tickle and nip at my skin. Ugh, it itches, and I want to itch, but something seems to be holding me down. I open my eyes slowly, staring up at the ceiling. I'm starting to get really annoyed that I can't just fall asleep. I have so much to do tomorrow. We're going on a trip to Naples, I think, to try the authentic Italian pizza. I'm gonna have a terrible time if I don't get at least a little. I realize that I can't move. Icy fear grips my chest, and at the same time, I see something large scuttling up the wall. A giant spider skitters upwards, its movement off, like it's a puppet being pulled up by strings. It moves across the ceiling, and even though it's the size of a giant crab, I can't move at all.
Adastrian arachnids
Are disturbingly.
I grit my teeth as it comes to a stop above my head, then fall straight down onto my face, legs fanned out. I shove at it, and the thing's pressing at my face.
I told you to hold him down. I'm trying. Marco, listen to me, please. You're safe. We're helping you.
I focus on the monsters above me, their massive white teeth and red, glowing eyes. Their horrible hands come down to press on me, and I feel the pricking pain all over my skin. I thrash around, but it's no use. They're too strong.
He's having another seizure.
I lean against the side of a building on the empty road. The night is peaceful and quiet. Mostly quiet. I hear clopping sounds in the distance. Galloping sounds. I frown and lean forward a bit, looking up the dark road. I see a horse running toward me. Its eyes glow red, and spit flies from its mouth. Afraid, I press myself closer to the building, but the horse ignores me. Instead, as it runs past me,
I see that it's dragging something. A wolf's headless body. The arms spread out, the stump leaving a long, red streak across the cobblestones. I open my mouth to scream.
We have nothing on record for his species. Then profile him. Is there a reason why we don't? Just heal him, please! It's just aviapox. Well, clearly it has a different effect on his species. His nervous system is already damaged beyond repair. You should consider... Things never seem to go as planned, do they? I am sorry that you had to experience this. I did not foresee it. Do not worry. You are still on the correct course. You will be able to complete this task. I just need a little time. Understand that this will not be easy, even for the parents. The pain will be temporary.
What's happening?
You will know in time, but not yet.
Time loses meaning. Blackness, simultaneously eternal and non-existent. Nightmares ebb and flow, building and fading. Scenes from my earliest childhood to my landing on Adastra, all warped by horrific and violent imagery that never happened. But as soon as each one ends, I forget, just like any other dream. Except one. I'm huddled in the seat of the ship, freezing cold, numb with desperation, and the fear of impending death. How is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? I glance back at the crumpled form of the wolf in the back of the ship. His head is framed by a pool of blood, the metal pipe just a few feet away where I dropped it. I've made a huge mistake. The anger and terror I'd been feeling over the past several hours, days, weeks, builds until I scream and smash both of my fists on the glowing panels in front of me. The next thing I know, light blasts the interior of the ship, and I cover my face with my hands. Still, the light pierces through, and I see blood red. The ship vibrates violently, and I know right away that we're being pulled into it. I reach out despite the impossible light, uselessly pounding at the unresponsive panels. Come on, goddammit! After a few moments, the brightness and heat becomes unbearable, and I finally throw myself to the floor, crawling away, crawling toward my wolf. Epicus! Help! But the light continues to grow, and soon everything is lit up in a blinding white. The heat's so intense that the metal melts underneath my hands and knees. I'm on fire. I am fire! I feel lines of molten lead course through from the base of my neck, down my spine, branching out into my limbs, even my toes and fingers. I can only float in the inferno, dumbly wondering why I still feel if I'm dead, wondering if this is death, as the ship, the wolf, and I become part of the star. Once again, time is lost, and I only exist as fire! I stare up at the sky, the air suddenly cool as I try to comprehend the sudden change from the harsh, all-consuming starlight to the gentle, cold moonlight. Still, fire continues to lance through my head, neck, spine, and limbs in agonizing lines, my body mapped as a tortured stick figure. It hurts more than anything I've ever experienced, but it's fading after what happened in the star, so I try to relax in the sand. After a few minutes, I realize that I can hear the waves, and I feel something drawing me toward the water. I'm a little scared of getting up, of any movement at all, terrified that it might trigger the pain anew. But it doesn't. It almost feels like I'm not moving at all. I glide toward the water, watching the surface reflect the bright planet and moon in hypnotic ripples. entering the lake and feeling the cold, gentle water wash over my skin is the best feeling I've ever felt. It envelopes me slowly, moving up my legs, torso, and finally, my head. And just like that, the pain and fire is chased away, subdued to a dull, tingly throb. I gasp in relief, somehow able to breathe under the water. I drift through the dark water, watching the globes of light dance and sway above me before I finally resurface. It's only then that I remember Amicus. Fear grips me. Was he still on that ship? Did I leave him behind in the star? I look up and see the lights glittering from the palace, and I begin to swim towards it, somehow moving much faster than I should be able to. Instead of swimming to the beach, though, I end up moving toward the balcony, straight to Amicus's room. As I get closer, I realize that someone is on the balcony. It's Amicus, and my heart fills with relief. He's got his back to the railing, leaning against it casually. Even though I can only see him from behind, I realize that it's not the Amicus I know. Instead, he's in full robes, and he's a lot more skinny than I remember. I slow down, wondering why he's not looking at me with all the splashing noises I'm making. Just as I'm about to call up to him, though, I see brown arms wrap around him, smoothing over his arms and back, and that's when Amicus turns to the side. I see now that those arms belong to another wolf, smaller and brown-furred, one that I've never seen before. Amicus is doing the same to him, paws moving around his body in a way that's awkward and hesitant. A pair of young lovers making out for the first time. I watch, suddenly feeling embarrassed. I'm back in Amicus's room, and that same teenaged wolf is now on the sofa, bent over, hiding his face behind his paws. I've never seen Amicus really cry, but I can tell that's what he's doing now. I feel the sense of complete and utter shame, the feeling that you've let everyone down. It consumes me. I reach out toward the young wolf, wanting to comfort him, wondering if he'll even know who I am. Suddenly, I'm sucked back into the cosmos. There's no parent this time. Instead, I float peacefully through the vacuum, staring down at what I assume is Adastra. Even though there isn't anyone here with me, I sense beings all around me. I also get a sense of approval, like their work is done.
Finish Mira's work, young human.
Just like that, I start to drift back down toward the moon, descending faster and faster until everything becomes a blur. This time, coming to feels real, and I immediately know I'm not in a dream. I smell lavender. Amicus? My eyes feel like they're glued shut, and I have to rub at them to get them to fully open. The first thing I see is the sky, the planet Anchorus and the moon Torque, both of them glowing brightly. I stare at the two floating orbs for a while, waiting for things to fall into place as to why I'm out here. I'm laying on something hard, like concrete, and I feel soft but weighty things on my chest. My hands are curled around it, and I lift it slowly to have a look, even though it feels like a 50-pound dumbbell. Flowers. Flowers with a fair bit of lavender mixed in. Slowly, I turn my head, and again, I get the feeling of heavy weights attached to my body. I somehow manage it, and immediately see that I'm in the amphitheater. At the same time, I see more flowers, and I realize that they're arranged all around me in a circle. Moving my head around also makes me realize that there's something scratchy and prickly on my head. Still struggling with my heavy hand, I reach up and grab at it. I lift it from my head and hold it in front of my face, my eyes taking a few moments to focus to find out that it's a wreath. Pink flowers woven into the twigs. I finally drop my arm to the side, getting too tired to hold it up, and I watch it lazily roll a few feet away. The movement sends a wave of tingling through my body, but it fades quickly. The heavy weakness is also starting to fade, but I'm more worried about how I got here, and why I'm covered in flowers. From what I can tell, I'm in the gardens, though a part of it I haven't been to before. I close my eyes, trying to remember how I got here. Amicus, the trial of rhetoric, the restaurant, being sick. Again, I lift my arm, though it's easier this time, and I look at the skin. It's covered in crusty, yellowish scabs, though they don't hurt. I don't know why, but I get the feeling that the skin underneath is completely healed. I try to think again. I do remember throwing up on Cassius, but after that, just terrible dreams. Did they heal me somehow? Is this flower thing part of that? I'm feeling some of my strength returning, so I force myself into a sitting position, joints popping, and muscles stiff. Still, with every movement, things get easier. I do get lightheaded, though, and I have to sit there for a moment, looking around again, wondering where Amicus is. He'd sounded so desperate and sad the last I heard him. I need to show him that I'm okay now. At least, I think I am. I slowly push myself up. Oh! Listening to the gunshot cracks of my knees, as if I hadn't used them for days. I stand unsteadily in the center of the square, looking around at the circle of flowers. Oh, I'm startled when I turn and see a wolf behind me. But it's just a sculpture. A male wolf decked out in armor, both of his paws raised to the sky. He's got a bunch of flowers weaved around his wrists, and on his head, too. I wait a few moments, listening for anyone that might be nearby. All I hear are the insects around me. So, I start to move toward the path that I know leads to the palace. Although I'm pretty sure I'm not dreaming now, this eerie scenario has me questioning that. The whole situation is surreal. All of the things that I remember happening last feel so distant. Despite spending all of my time on Adastra trying to be covert, I find myself longing to find someone, anyone really. I just need to know what's happened. And pretty soon, I do find someone. His back is to me, stooped over, fur almost ghostly in the glow of the garden lights. The cat busies himself with some flowers, a pair of metal clippers in his paws. As I get closer, I can hear him humming just above the noise of his busy snipping. I'm just opening my mouth when I see his ears perk.
Cass, you know I don't like these games.
Alex turns to face me, a knowing smile on his lips. That quickly disappears the second he sees me, though, replaced by a look of complete shock. Whatever he was trying to say doesn't seem to want to come out, and instead, he just stands there, gaping at me. Hey. I can barely talk, my voice rasping out like sandpaper on wood. I take a step forward, and that's when Alex finally reacts, jumping almost a foot into the air in a backwards motion, putting space between us as he yelps.
What? How?
He stutters and stumbles over his words. I've seen Alex flustered before, but never like this. There's real fear in his eyes as he stumbles against some bushes. I wonder if he's just going to take off running, but instead he stands there, quivering as he holds the clippers up in front of his chest, as if contemplating using them as a weapon. I raise my hands reassuringly. Hey, Alex, it's me. I cough a few times, trying to clear my throat. I see Alex's ears twitch at the sound as he slowly lowers the clippers, though he moves to the side away from the bush, giving himself a clear path to the palace.
Marco? But how?
He's staring at me like what he's seeing is impossible. How what? I'm regaining my voice slowly, but surely. What's happening? Alex finally seems to get a hold of himself, fur slowly laying flat again as he eyes me, looking almost suspicious.
I could ask you the same thing.
This catches me off guard. Why?
Well,
Alex looks around before focusing on me again, tilting his head, as if to look at me from a different angle.
you were dead.
Dead?
Well, not completely. But you were in a coma that we were told you would not wake up from.
Oh. I look down at myself, as if to confirm that I am indeed alive and well. Aside from the patchy scabs all over my arms and legs, I feel okay. I thought the doctor healed me. Alex's ears perk.
Doctor?
I mean, I think there was a doctor. I heard him when I was brought back here. Alex's eyes narrow.
Amicus told us you were vegetative before he arrived. How did you hear him?
I don't know. I might have dreamed it. I was really out of it.
If you were still conscious when he arrived, he should have been able to halt the damage caused by the virus. Who was the doctor?
With every passing second, I regain more and more of my wits, and Alex's demeanor is confusing me. He thought I was dead, and instead of being happy, I feel like he's interrogating me. That's also when I realize something else. Wait, you all think I'm dead?
Well, not me anymore, obviously. This is all very strange. How did you survive exactly?
Now the cat is starting to annoy me, and I look past him toward the palace, the situation finally dawning on me. Where's Amicus? The cat is quiet for a moment, as if contemplating something, then quirks his head.
I'm not sure. He's been here and there, though I haven't seen him for at least a day.
I walk past the cat toward the palace, realizing what sort of state the wolf might be in.
Where are you going? I'm very happy to see that you are well. This is all just very sudden and unexpected.
I ignore Alex, not really in the mood to figure out why he's acting the way he is. He's making me feel like I'm still dreaming. So I walk quickly, and I'm relieved that he doesn't follow me. The wave of cool air that hits me as I enter the palace is a welcome feeling, and I find myself grateful to be back. Despite having apparently been here the whole time, it really does feel like I've been away for weeks. I pick up the pace as I head toward Amicus's room, practically jogging. I have to let him know that I'm okay. The short distance to his room seems like it takes longer than it ever has before, and I'm glad that I don't run into anyone else on the way. That interaction with Alex was weird, and I don't need a repeat of that right now. I finally make it to his door, and I immediately hear muffled chattering behind it. I don't hesitate, though, and I press my hand to the panel. The door slides open, and instead of the usual blast of even colder air I would often get from Amicus's room, it's stuffy, warm, and the smell a little bit musky. The lights are dimmed, and my heart sinks when I see the empty bed. I linger in the doorway, though, something feeling off. The droning chatter is calm, giving what sounds like a monologue on the history of some past emperor. I see wine bottles, too, mostly bunched together on top of the bedside table, but there are also a few laying here and there on the floor. Amicus? I call out, starting to become afraid of what I might find. I take a few tentative steps into the room. Then I hear a loud snore, and instantly, the worry gripping my chest starts to release. I'd recognize that sound anywhere. I hurry over to the other side of the bed, where I find my wolf splayed out on the floor, a wine bottle next to his head, only in his underwear. He's clearly asleep, or passed out, muzzle hanging wide open as another thunderous snore shakes the floor. Amicus! I crouch down next to him, resting a hand on his chest, trying to shake him awake. His only response is a few more broken snorts before drooling out the side of his muzzle. I switch to patting at his face, then grabbing his muzzle and shaking it around, noticing how crusty the fur is. Something I've never felt on Amicus before. Amicus? I consider slapping him like I've seen people do in the movies. Then I see the bottle next to his head and decide to go for another approach. I snatch it up and hurry to the bathroom. I hold the bottle under the faucet for a good 5 seconds, letting it fill up with soapy water to the halfway point, before I hurry back out into the room. Meanwhile, Com doesn't seem to notice me, droning on about how this particular emperor was known for having a fondness of orchids. I crouch down next to Amicus again, hesitating for a second as I wonder if maybe I should call Cato. Probably not Cato. Nefero, maybe? Just in case Amicus is actually in trouble.
I don't know how much a wolf can drink before it can kill them, but the sheer amount of bottles laying around the room worries me. I decide to just go ahead with my plan, and I upend the bottle over Amicus's face. It pours directly onto his nose, and he immediately chokes, turning his head this way and that to avoid the stream of bubbly water. I have a moment to wonder if drowning him is the best approach, before he suddenly sits up, pawing at his face. The wolf covers his eyes, and it's only then that I realize how irritating the soap might be for them. Shit, sorry! Should I get some water from the shower so you can rinse your eyes out? Amicus freezes, still covering his face, then slowly lowers his paws to reveal his bleary, bloodshot eyes. He stares at me in a way that he never has before. It's kind of surprised like Alex had been, but rather than fear, Amicus simply looks empty, numb. Are you okay? I reach out, but Amicus turns his head away.
Away with you, ghost. Enough of your torment.
He keeps his head turned away, eyes closed. Ghost? Amicus, it's me. I reach out and grab his face, and that seems to shock him as he jumps and turns to look me right in the eye. I can tell that he's drunk, very drunk, but there's an extra distant look in his eyes that I don't like. Amicus? What are you on? Did you take something? I hold his big head steady, feeling the fullness of his cheeks in my hands, looking into his familiar eyes, no matter how glazed and unfocused they are. Then I find myself throwing my arms around his neck and leaning into his body, the reality of the situation crashing down on me all at once. Amicus gasps into my ear, as if my touch suddenly makes him realize that I'm real, that I'm here. Clumsily, he starts to stand up, pulling me up with him. It's difficult because I don't let go, almost getting lifted off my feet before I settle on letting go for just a moment to hug him lower around his body, pressing my head to his chest, hearing his heart hammering inside. Finally, he's able to get a grip on me and push me away despite my intention to cling to him forever. He holds me at arm's length, staring at me. I clutch his paws on my shoulders, staring up at him, feeling my eyes start to water.
Is this possible? No, please, I can't handle another hallucination.
His expression keeps morphing from hope and awe to devastation. I feel his paws grip into my shoulders tightly, almost painfully, as if to make sure I'm real. It's me! I woke up in the garden for some reason. I'm okay. I want to hug him again, but he keeps holding me away, looking me up and down, pushing my hair back and feeling my crusty skin.
But how?
I don't know. I just remember having crazy dreams. Then I was in the garden. As I'm talking, I think Amicus is finally believing it's me. And I notice that his body is starting to sway in a whirring manner. Amicus? I reach out to steady him, but as I do, his eyes roll back, and I realize there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to keep a wolf over twice my weight from toppling over. I try anyway, wrapping my arms around him as Amicus falls backwards, his bulk pulling me down with him before he falls back first onto the bedside table, sending bottles flying while his upper back and head smashes into the wall. My fall is absorbed by his much softer front, but the sound is loud, the room shaking and probably waking up the entire palace. Waking the wolf up the second time is a lot easier. Probably because he'd fainted rather than passed out from too much wine. We're at least able to move onto the bed, where Amicus sits cross-legged, pulling me onto his lap and just holding me there, his paws moving around my body, still trying to make sure I'm real. For a moment, we don't talk, the wolf just pressing his nose to my hair and breathing in deeply. I feel a little self-conscious, knowing I must not smell very good right now. But that doesn't seem to bother Amicus, as he goes on pressing his nose to my head and neck, taking in my scent. Finally, he does speak, but it's one word.
How?
I turn my head toward the wolf, resting my cheek against his neck. I don't know. I don't really even know what happened to me.
You got sick. So sick. You were having convulsions, brain and nerve damage. It was terrible.
Amicus's arms tighten around me, his voice, normally deep and strong, now sounding weak and broken. This statement worries me, though, and I have to wonder if I really am better. There seem to be patches missing from my memory, and I do feel different, like I'm not fully myself. But I don't really want to think about it right now. I think I remember a little bit of that. I lift my arm up, showing Amicus the shiny, crusty scabs on my arm.
It was aviapox. I can't believe I didn't consider the possibility of disease and illness for you. I'm just so used to the idea of any new arrival on Adastra going through that process. Obviously, we did it a bit differently.
Yeah.
And, honestly, I'm not even sure I'd have you do it. I don't know if you'd react differently to those vaccinations. Each species has their own customized cocktail. And aviapox isn't included in the vaccination set. It's such a mild virus. We'd never seen anyone react to it the way you did. Even other primates.
I think back to how quickly I became sick. How quickly I almost died. I notice Amicus looking down at me again, and I look back up at him. What? Amicus shakes his head.
I'm just still trying to make sure you're here. That you're real. I'm afraid if I let go, if I even look away, you'll disappear.
His arms tighten around me again, squeezing a huff of breath out of me. I'm here. I promise.
Well, I've had a lot of hallucinations. Too many stress tablets, I think.
Stress tablets?
Yes. Quite a few of them, in fact.
With wine?
Oh, yes.
Amicus! I don't really know what these stress tablets are, but I imagine mixing Space Xanax with alcohol is a horrible idea. Amicus doesn't seem bothered by my reprimand, though, instead just snuggling closer to me, his crusted face fur prickly against my skin.
I love you, Marco.
I get that familiar swooping feeling in my chest, like I'm on a roller coaster. I clutch onto his arms. I love you too. Amicus sighs and sets his chin on my head.
I thought I'd miss the opportunity to say it. I still can't believe you're real.
Well, I am. I promise.
But I still don't understand how. This shouldn't be possible. You were declared to be in a permanent coma, no brain activity. I had to set you out in the garden and only hope for a miracle.
Miracle? Amicus lets out a shaky sigh, running his fingers through my hair.
When a sapient falls into such a state, we simply let them fade away in a peaceful setting, or possibly recover if the parents allow it. I sat out there for a while, but couldn't bear to see you waste away, so came back to my room to drink and prepare for the emperorship.
I imagine Amicus laying those flowers around me, and I feel my heart break a little.
Did the parents come to you? Is that why you're here? I had hoped that they would.
I shrug. I really can't remember much.
It doesn't matter. My prayers were answered. Praise the gods.
Amicus starts to smother me again with his hugging. Little bits of imagery from my dreams are starting to come back to me. Something that happened in space. Someone talking to me.
And judging by the only human I know, your people are full of surprises. But we can figure it out later. I just want to hold you right now.
Okay.
And Marco?
Yeah?
Please try to avoid mentioning that I lost consciousness when I saw you.
Of course. So we sit there a while longer, while Amicus just sort of cuddles with me. After about an hour, we finally decide to move to the shower, considering the state we're both in. We shower together, taking turns scrubbing each other. Oh, the hot water really brings life back into my limbs, and those worrying tingles have faded to the point where I'm barely noticing them now. Amicus gently rubs at my crusted skin, and we're both surprised to see it come away, exposing new, unblemished skin underneath.
Incredible. I never knew humans healed at such a rate.
Yeah. I don't know if that's really the case, and my mind continues to wander back to those vague, hard-to-remember dreams I was having. Meanwhile, Amicus leans back against the wall as I rub soap into his front, smiling gently as I lather up his chest. I can tell that he's still fairly drunk, but that doesn't stop his cock from becoming fully erect between us, which I just pretend not to notice. His eyes widen as if he suddenly realizes something.
Wait, did anyone else notice you?
I pause, both my hands cupping his sizable pecs. Yeah, actually, Alex was in the garden, and I talked to him.
Just Alex?
Yeah. Amicus seems to relax a bit.
What did he say?
Just seemed really surprised.
Unsurprising.
But he was acting a little weird. Amicus shrugs.
He keeps things to himself for the most part. I'd be worried if you ran into Cato, or Cassius especially. I need to think of a way to explain this to them. This Sibian Guides is becoming harder to keep up.
I'm about to mention more about Alex's demeanor, but that's when Amicus just starts hugging me again. His dick hot and firm, crushing between us as he does. I don't care, though, and Amicus doesn't seem to either.
I don't understand any of this right now, but as long as it's real, I don't care.
It feels so good like this. His wet fur slicked down tightly to his thick body, which presses against me perfectly. Amicus finally shuts off the water, and we're blasted with hot air. I'm dried in less than a minute, and I stumble out to try and fix my poofy hair in the mirror, while Amicus stands in the shower stall for a little while longer. After another few minutes, I watch him step out and come up behind me to nuzzle my ears, embracing me once again. He really can't keep his paws off me, but I completely understand why. He starts nudging me out into the bedroom, before turning me around to face him, lowering his face to mine. And I finally realize where this is going. It feels so sudden, especially after everything that's happened. I think we could use more time to adjust, but I kiss back anyway. We've kissed a few times before, but only with our lips. Now, his tongue presses against my mouth, and I only hesitate for a moment before letting it in, his thinner, longer tongue caressing mine with a surprising, nimble strength. I thought it would be kind of hard to make out with the way his muzzle is shaped, but Amicus makes it happen, his lips clamping around my mouth as he kisses deeper. I'm amazed at how bold he's being, and I wonder if maybe it's because he's still pretty inebriated. He cradles my head gently, walking me backwards slowly, his cock poking against my groin and thighs occasionally, until I come against the bed. Gently, he lowers me down to rest on my back, both paws coming to press on either side of my shoulders, while he looms over me, grinning before he pauses.
Is this okay?
I think. I mean, are you okay? We can wait until tomorrow when you're less drunk. He grins again.
I've been wanting to do this for so long, to show you how much I love you.
Amicus leans down, nuzzling my neck.
I thought I'd miss that chance. I can't tell you how dark these past 3 days have been for me. I ran out of tears yesterday.
Amicus looks away for a moment.
I'm not going to miss that chance now.
I reach up and hold his head steady again, before I lean up to kiss him. This may be alcohol-fueled, it may be sudden, but after everything that's happened, after what Amicus has been through, I want us to be able to do this before anything else happens. He huffs loudly through his nose, the burst of hot air tickling my face as he falls to the bed, rolling to the side to pull me up on top of him. His massive, soft body cushions me like it always does, rising and falling with his quickening breaths, his kissing becoming more and more aggressive as he lets out little growls and snarls. All the reservations I had about having sex with an alien wolf fall away at that moment. After everything that's happened, and especially after almost dying, I just don't care anymore. We grind against each other, both of us hard now as we just explore the other's body, his giant paws sliding up and down my sides while I do the same to him. Eventually, I sit up, straddling his waist, looking down at him, just sort of taking him in. Again, he has that silly grin on his face, his paws on my thighs, kneading at the skin and muscle.
You're beautiful.
That makes me laugh. Beautiful? Well, you're adorable. Amicus raises an eyebrow.
I'm not sure that's the correct descriptor for the next Emperor of Adastra.
I lean forward and aggressively rub at his belly, his weak spot, immediately neutralizing his snark as his paws flop back above his head, eyes almost rolling with pleasure before he squeezes them shut. He writhes and arches around my hands, leaning into the rub as I slide my hands up to his chest, then all the way down to his lower stomach. When that happens, I feel his dick jump against my rear, making me realize how hard I'm getting him. I'm getting the same way as I make the strong, thick body below me undulate with pleasure. His head rolls from side to side, tongue flopping back and forth, and when I giggle at him, that seems to finally bring him out of his trance. He growls and grips my arms.
That's cheating.
With that, he rolls me over, easily reversing our positions as he mounts me, pinning my hands above my head with one paw. With his other, he tries to rub at my stomach, which makes me laugh and squirm until he finally lets off. That doesn't work on primates.
Seemed like it worked well to me.
He lets go of my hands and leans down to nuzzle at my face, his cold nose exploring my chin, cheeks, and forehead. He then starts to adjust his positioning before he suddenly stops, looking up at me. His ears lower, and I can tell that he's embarrassed. What?
Do you humans, for males, do you go through the rear?
Oh. I think about that. That would be the expected route, but looking at Amicus's length, the wolf follows my gaze and looks even more embarrassed.
We don't have to. I don't want to hurt you, of course.
I prop myself up on my elbows, looking between the two of us. Yeah, maybe some other time. You're kind of thick. Amicus smirks.
Thank you.
He starts adjusting himself again, squatting as he sort of waddles up so that our dicks are parallel to each other.
Maybe this?
He slowly lowers himself until we make contact. The feeling inside of it is electric, the hot flesh of his cock pressing against mine firmly. Out of sight, I feel his furry balls come to rest gently on top of mine, the soft forms molding together easily. Amicus pauses there, smiling down at me gently as he rests both paws to either side of my head.
You'll have to excuse my ignorance. I'm not sure how humans might copulate.
He wiggles his hips, causing his length to slide from side to side on top of mine, and I have to stifle a gasp. I think it's about the same, from what I saw. Amicus frowns for a moment as he realizes what exactly it is I'm referencing, but quickly recovers as he leans down to kiss me once again. Once he's finished, I smile back up at him. But yeah, this is fine. I rest my hands on his knees, noticing how he's balancing most of his considerable weight in a squat. Are you comfortable, though? That looks like a workout.
Cato works me a lot harder than this, Marco.
Amicus frowns again as he realizes how that could be interpreted.
I mean, he makes me do a lot of squatting exercises. I'll just consider this extra practice.
I reach out and feel up the wolf's chest and belly while he speaks, again marveling at how powerful it all is. Amicus chuckles and arches out a bit to give me a better feel, taking deep breaths and puffing out his chest. He shudders as I rub at his nipples, the nubs of flesh hardening instantly.
So, Now that you're comfortable.
Tentatively, Amicus reaches down with his left paw and carefully lifts my length from my stomach to press against his. This time, I let out a little gasp, being squeezed together like this, sending a jolt of pleasure up from my dick, through my body, and into my brain. Immediately, my skin breaks out into goosebumps as I shiver to Amicus's touch, his gentle but all-enveloping paw feeling so good right now. He starts off slowly at first, beginning to jerk us both off in small, quick motions. I can tell that he's being overly careful with me, so I jerk my hips up against him, encouraging more. He seems to get the hint, and he picks up speed, giving the two of us deeper, faster strokes that makes me grip at the bedsheets on either side of me, staring at the ceiling as I let out soft pants and groans. Amicus gets more and more into it, already leaking all over my own dick as he pumps his paw, bicep bulging with the effort. I've been jerked off by others before, but Amicus's paw really is something else. Of course it's big, but the soft, squishy pads on his palm and fingers add to the pleasure, giving me a texture I've never felt before. The wolf starts to thrust his powerful hips into the stroking, making the bed squeak and shake. Again, his strength is evident in how he practically moves my entire body with each thrust. The idea that he's holding back, turning me on even more. I feel his heavy sack bouncing on top of mine. My knees jerk up with each thrust, and each time they do, I feel his large rear end slam up against them, his furry form tight and clenched.
I'm getting close.
He pants over my head, a drop of drool dripping down onto my cheek. I start to thrust up against him in earnest, wanting to match his climax. At this point, we're almost bouncing on the bed with how hard the wolf is humping against me, forgetting his strength in the moment. I don't mind though, not really caring how sore I'm going to be tomorrow as the pleasure overtakes me. It hits me all at once, and I reach up to put a hand against his face, letting him know, and he takes that as a signal to let go as well. I feel it in his entire body, the wolf tensing up, muscles tightening, standing out through the fur on his thighs, stomach, and chest. I see his face then as he balances on the edge of climax, eyes wide and looking toward the ceiling, mouth hanging open, a look of pure awe. I feel it in his cock too, and at the same time, we're both pushed over the edge. I groan, something I don't usually do, but the buildup, the situation, the feeling is all too much. It's drowned out by the sound that Amicus makes, though. He practically sags over me, letting out a bassy, rumbling moan of ecstasy. Hearing the masculine, deep voice making a sound of such pleasure spurs on another spasm for my cock. I think the same happens to Amicus, because he suddenly hunches forward again, muzzle right next to my ear as he groans out again, his hot rush of breath on the side of my face making me shudder. The big wolf continues to thrust against me, in time with the spurts from his cock, the look on his face now one of goofy pleasure, his long tongue drooping out, dripping onto my chest. His climax goes on for several seconds longer than mine, and I watch as he spurts over my stomach over and over, until finally he collapses down against me, his fur damp with sweat. I wrap my arms around him as he heaves for breath, feeling his body expand and contract against mine. He nuzzles against my head, his stomach flattening against mine, against the mess we've made. We're going to have to take another shower. Even though I'm a bit out of breath, I'm
I'm kind of amused at how much Amicus is gasping, sounding like he just ran a marathon. He really put everything into that.
You.
I hold his head against mine, turning to kiss him on the cheek. Me?
You are incredible.
Thanks. You're really something, too.
A good something?
A very good something. We lay there quietly for a moment, Amicus propping himself up a bit on his knees and elbows so his entire weight doesn't rest on top of me. How are your legs?
Burning. Probably the most intense exercise my thighs have ever been through. But it was worth it.
Again, we lay there quietly, as Amicus just sort of strokes my hair.
I'm still terrified that this is a dream.
I hug him more tightly to my body, almost forcing him to fall on top of me. I'm here, and I'll be here in the morning when you wake up.
You'd better. Otherwise, I'll never forgive you.
His speech slurs a bit as he whispers into my ear. I look at him. So, exactly how drunk are you? The wolf shrugs, slowly rolling off of me, cold air hitting the fluids on my stomach.
I'm fairly sober now. Shall we wash up?
He reaches out a paw, and I take it, slightly surprised as he pulls me up to be carried in his arms, like I'm his new bride. We go to the shower and wash up again, even more slowly than we did the first time. When we come back to the bed, Amicus continues to dote over me, hardly ever letting me go at any point. I can tell that he's legitimately worried that this isn't real, and I feel the same way. After everything that's happened, this doesn't seem possible. Eventually, I lay in the bed next to him, and he spoons me tightly against his body. He's extremely warm, but with no blankets and the cold air drifting down on top of us, it's perfect. Pretty soon, I'm drifting off to sleep, listening to the wolf's soft snores in my ear. Thankfully, I don't dream.
Get up!
I jump at the same time I feel Amicus jolt against me. We both struggle to sit up while pulling the covers up around us.
Out of the bed.